why do we have this fear of death? Well, we fear that we're going to die because we have gone deep into the dream of form. We've gone deep into the idea that when we die, that's all there is. And so, but really, when we die, it's only everything that is not real that dies. It's the ego that dies, but our soul continues. So the journey really in life is to actually strip away everything that is not real, to strip away all of the illusions of the ego, all the misidentifications, and actually to go more and more and more into identifying with what is real, what is true, what is permanent, which is of course our soul and our spirit and our true vibration, what I call our unique soul vibration. So by stripping away all of these things, we become more real. We come back home into ourselves, and therefore when we die, it won't be such a stark transition. So what I believe is that the ego is actually based upon this fear of death. That is actually the root of all of the egoic misidentifications and misperceptions, all of the neurosis. We have all of these things like guilt and shame and projection and doubt and confusion and all sorts of different fears. But I believe that the root of that is the fear of death, this unconscious terror of complete annihilation. And on some level there is annihilation, because all of these misperceptions and misidentifications of the ego will be stripped away, but who we really are cannot die. So when we really know that we can't die, that when we really remember ourselves as immortal souls, that we go on from journey to journey to journey, and we are timeless, we are limitless, and we are far more extraordinary and far more boundless than the confines of the human body and the human brain, then this root can be taken away. We can uproot this fear of death, and we can just come home to ourselves. We can relax into ourselves. We can come into a sense of ease. We can come into a sense of grace. We can come into a sense of inner knowing, and come into a sense of trusting our intuition, coming to into a sense of trusting the universe, trusting that we're all here for a reason, trusting in the signs that we see, trusting in the synchronicities, trusting in the flow of life, and just going with that flow and surrendering to that flow, and actually just going deeper and deeper and deeper into the innate wisdom which we all have from the soul, which is connected to all that is, which is the oneness of the spirit that is behind the illusion of all forms in this planet Earth and all realms in our universe, or multiverse if you like. So the fear of death is something that when we address that, when we realize that it's false to fear something that isn't real, then we can root that out, and then we can relax. And it is my belief that all of these other problems that the ego presents to ourselves will go away. So it's my belief that when you really understand and begin to remember the other side, and that we keep going back to the other side, and I go into a lot of detail about what is on the other side, in the afterlife, in heaven if you like, then you will on some level begin to remember, because we've all been there before so many times, that on some deep level some inner knowing will present itself to you, and you will go, aha, of course, I remember. Of course I can't die. Of course I will come back to life, actually, when I actually leave this lifetime, just as I would return home after a weekend away, after a week's holiday, etc. Of course, I am always here, yeah? When you become aware as yourself as awareness, primarily, and not aware of yourself as a body, or aware of yourself even as your thoughts, although many of the thoughts do continue, the true thoughts that come from you do continue, then you can liberate yourself from the illusion of death, And the illusion in many ways of the form of this human incarnation and the illusion of this construct of reality that we choose to co-create to have this experience of contrast of what we are not. So we don't even need to face our fear of death. We just need to realize that death is not a thing. Yeah, all we do is just a change of clothes. We just take this body off, and then we are liberated, and then we can pretty much take on any form that we want. And then when we choose to go into another life, we will most likely take another form. Yes, we can go into another human life if we want, but if we go into another human life, that will mean that we will again most likely forget, because part of the human experience is to forget who we really are, as I say, so we can really go on this full journey of remembering and rediscovering ourselves and understanding what we are not. However, this, I believe, is the only realm in which that happens. In every other realm, it's just an easy transition in and out, just like you were walking into a shop and walking out the back door, walking into a house and walking back into the garden through the other side. It's that simple, and there is no forgetting. But in this life, we have this experience of being birthed, and in the process of being birthed, we forget who we are, and then we have this experience of actually dying in order to leave. And that's quite unique, according to what I understand about the different realms of reality. All of this I'll explain. So when we really know that we can't die, the house of cards, which is the ego, the complex of the ego, the construct of the personality in all of its facets, many of which are completely unnecessary, many of which are completely neurotic, full of anxieties and projections and doubts and fears, that house of cards will just come crashing down. It will just collapse. It will be completely dismantled. There will be nothing left. And the only thing that will be left will be the real, will be you, will be your true soul, your uniqueness, your unique soul vibration will be the ground of being. The ground of being is permanent. You are permanent. You are true. You are real. You cannot die. You have always been here. You will always be here. You are here now. Know yourself as awareness. Be aware of yourself as awareness. And that awareness and that awareness of awareness is something that is real, is true, is filled with love, is connected to all things, and that will be liberated from the body, just as it is in an out-of-body experience. If you have a full out-of-body experience, and we can go into that in the course, as opposed to a astral projection, which is just a partial leaving of the body, most of the awareness will still be in the body. This is like having a controlled near-death experience. But otherwise, when you die, the awareness leaves the body and completely loses its attachment to the body, loses its attachment to the personality, right? In my sense, the markness is suddenly loosened as I remember myself as a limitless soul with countless lives and access to all things, and connected to the oneness and the love of the eternal, of the God, of the creator, of the divine, of the universe. So I hope that's really, really good news. Let it sink in. I'm going to keep reminding you all of these things. In each of the lectures, I'm going to keep referring back to all of these concepts so they really land. So there's going to be a lot of repetition, because these concepts are so profound. They are so life-changing and so death-changing that it's important to really see them from lots of different angles, so you can really allow yourself to process the information that I'm giving you, and therefore you can really integrate them and really start this process of remembering, of loosening the grip of the ego, loosening the fear of death, coming into a sense of remembering yourself as a limitless soul, and be really enthusiastic about death when it comes, and just to remember that you know, we're not looking forward to that death because we are not afraid of it, but we came here to really live. So we let go of our fear of death so that we can really begin to live. Because when we are afraid of death, somehow it makes us treading on eggshells and we become afraid to live. So this course is about you beginning to really live on a whole nother level and to really remember why you chose to come here and what you're here to do, to really get back on track with your life plan. And so this is something that you put together in the life between lives with your soul family, and then for you, as I say, you leave all these markers for yourself to help you wake up, to help you remember. Okay, but at the end of the day, there's no judgment on the other side. God doesn't judge. You can't do it wrong. You can't mess this up. It really doesn't matter. You'll have a full life review anyway when you die, and you'll even be shown all of the things that you didn't choose, the different timelines. So it's all good. So there's nothing to worry about. Just enjoy your life, and hopefully me as your guide on your guide into the afterlife will actually put you right back where you want to be. All right, so thanks very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.